This is your boy, the Omega Katana here, and sorry about the inconvenience of last podcast because it was having the connections having a stroke all of a sudden. So, so thanks for dropping by of the late notice. I'm pretty sorry about that. And this time I'll be focusing on doing it on my phone. And thanks for my previous guest, Father Bali, here, my fellow
Hey,
Katana on Twitter. So thanks for dropping by. Please introduce yourself.
yeah, my name is Bedr Bali. I'm from Egypt. Also, I was born in the UK as well. I was born in the UK, but I live in Egypt at the moment, and I've been living here for a long time. Uh, Although I did move to UK for a couple of years because my brother lives there, but I moved back to Egypt after that. And yeah, I am a geek. Like my Twitter profile says, I'm like a huge geek for everything from Superman to My Little Pony.
Yeah, I'm like more of the Gundam side and anime things, but I like some DC comics like Batman. I love
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah, Superman's my favorite fictional character, basically. Of
Yeah,
course, I love anime. I've been a big anime fan since I was like I watched I like I grew up watching shows that were anime but were produced by international companies like Mysterious City of Gold, like for
heard
example,
about
because
that one. Never watched it.
yeah, it's a pretty good show. It's a really good show, and it was a Japanese French co-production. It was co-produced by Haim Saban, the Power Rangers
Gotham
guy.
Power Rangers. Yes.
Yeah, and that was like one of his early projects, and it had a huge number. There was a Japanese version, but the English dub is more iconic, especially because of its iconic theme song. And the
Yeah.
English dub was done in Canada, and yet it has that less polished English dub quality, but it's serviceable.
Yeah.
I have the entire series on DVD. Finally watched I finally watched the whole series. It was really good. It was like one of those early attempts to make an to one early attempt to have a serialized dramatic cartoon show for an international audience,
Yeah.
along with along with something like say Ulysses. Ulysses
34, something like that.
yeah, yeah, which was also co-produced by Deke. It was then once I moved, and there was also Thunderbirds 2086, which was an anime series. I forgot what its original name was, but it had the similar concept to the Thunderbirds TV show. So when they made an English dub, they just slapped the Thunderbirds logo license on it because it had a similar concept of an international rescue team that have these like huge spaceships and stuff like vehicles and stuff like that, but takes place in the
Yeah.
future.
Yep.
But I never actually. And one of my earliest memories of watching an actual anime, although I didn't know it at the time until many years later, was like one of the people one like back in the UK, one of my parents' neighbors or friends, I can't remember who it was. They had a VHS of a film of an English dub film compilation of Dimos.
Wow.
Yeah, and I still remember a huge part of. I remember like the main thing I remembered from it at that time was like one of the sidekicks who like this guy with the big afro and that's katana, huge
Yeah.
katana. That was one I remember the most, as well as the martial arts fight scenes. And
Yeah.
yeah, I never really, I never really felt, I never really felt I never really felt I actually understood what anime was until I moved to Egypt. Because at that time you had Grindizer, you had Kasupasa, and of course you had Mazinger Z, which some episodes were dubbed to Arabic, and
Yeah.
uh, like I don't know why why the entire series wasn't dubbed, despite how popular it was. I think it's because they mainly dubbed the English over the English dub that was available on VHS at the time that only had like around 24 episodes dubbed. I think it was a Hawaiian dub because that's how
Yeah.
because before it was dubbed to English, before it was dubbed to Arabic, there was a Hawaiian dub that was actually widely available on VHS in Egypt at the time because VHS were huge back then. that's like yeah, like that's how I got. And oh, good times because back then, like VHS was one of the best things to do if you want to watch something uncensored.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I got to watch Grendizer, es- especially with Grendizer. They actually, with shows like Grendizer and Captain Tsubasa, they actually kept some of the Japanese insert songs, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And in Grendizer's case, they actually kept the Japanese names,
Yeah.
which which was not even the Italian or French dubs did, because they changed the names on those dubs.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
Yeah. I didn't get Grendizer at all in America.
yeah.
That would
So
have my dad would have loved that show when he was a kid.
yeah, like I do know Grendizer, the first half of the anime was dubbed to English through the Force 5 dub.
Yeah.
Yeah, which also had Getorobo
Get a Robo
G.
G.
Also, for some reason, they called it Star Avengers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They also had the Guy King,
Yep.
another Road
Guy
Mecha anime.
King,
Yeah, that one.
Vanguard Ace,
Vanguard Ace, and
Lechi Matsumoto, by the way.
yeah, I think that was like his only mecha anime.
Yep.
Yeah, very much. And yeah, basically, Lishiat, no matter what type of genre he did, he always leans to sci-fi. That was his
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like I know people like to say that Gundam was like the Star Trek of anime, but I say Battleship Yamato or Star Blazers for
Yeah.
American viewers was felt more like was actually more Star Trek because unlike Gundam, you actually have aliens in Battleship Yamato.
Yeah.
And
Yamato, I love Yamato very much. I
yeah,
saw a little bit of it here and there, and I love the series. It's remake and the original.
yeah, I I found out the remake actually gender bend one of the characters. Yeah, basically, it was a character who was a minor character in the original anime, and they gender bent him into a woman and gave her a bigger role.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Interesting.
even in Japan they do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, and I'm not surprised. I mean, one of my favorite anime to watch as a kid was a '90s Three Musketeers anime.
Yeah.
You heard that one?
No.
Well, it was released. It was popular in Italy, especially,
Yeah.
and in Europe, especially in Italy, and it was also dubbed in Arabic. One of the Musketeers, Aramis, who like the
Aramis.
Aramis, the romantic type, who's like the romantic type. He
Yeah.
was it was revealed in an episode that he was actually a woman in disguise, pretending to be a man who joined the Musketeers to get revenge for the death of her fiance.
Yeah.
And she's actually, surprisingly enough, she was one of the most iconic parts of that incarnation. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
and Little Women, of course, not the, and of course there's also, uh, like there are a number of examples, but there's also race bending in some anime I've seen. Like for example, on a lesser scale, there was the anime adaptation of Little Women as part of the Nippon Animation's masterpiece theater, which I loved as a kid.
Oh, I
They
never watched it. Wanted to watch that as a kid. I want to watch that stuff when I was
Yeah,
now, but it's hard to find here.
yeah, like there's like I watched Heidi and I watched Pollyanna, and there was Little
Yeah.
Women. And Little Women, they had a maid who was a white Irish woman. They made her into an African American nanny. Although luckily she wasn't portrayed as your typical stereotypical black nanny. So thank goodness for
Yeah.
that, because that would have been
Yeah.
awkward. And
Yeah.
but a bigger example was Samurai 7,
Yeah.
because which was like a um, science fiction steampunk take on the Seven
Version.
Samurai.
Yeah.
Samurai,
Yeah.
the creators,
That movie.
yeah, the creator that anime series, the creators acknowledged that they actually changed many of the characters' ethnicities, which is obvious with
Yeah.
one of them being being like an African, a tall African guy, but still kept the Japanese names,
Yeah.
which was which was pretty interesting because But yeah, it was. So I always found it interesting when I see black characters with Japanese names, like in Slam Dunk, the captain of
Yeah,
the team. He looks obviously meant to be like a African character, but he still has a
yeah,
Japanese name. But which I found weird at the time. But when I actually look up information and find out, Afro Japanese do exist, I'm like, okay, so I think it's because it's so weird because they're still a minority. So that's
yeah,
why I never think about that until years later. Also, from what I've read, even though they're still a very small minority, they're starting to grow a bit, not by
yeah.
much.
Mhm.
Hell, the Japan's Muslim population is growing. Is
Growing,
actually
yeah. I
growing.
saw some documentaries on that.
Yeah, it was like wow, like they saw a huge rise of mosques from 2001 to recently. It was like I think like it was like 20% of like 20% increase of mosques at that time. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
it's well, it's kind of and funny enough, I actually discovered one of one of one of Shatoru Ishinomori's lesser known but early heroes, like early hero manga heroes, was inspired by real life Japanese Muslim.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name Hamaru, something Hamaru.
Is that
Like
what's his name? Something Mask?
uh,
Forgot his name. That's not created by
yeah,
him.
basically he was like a masked hero.
Hmm.
He wore a traditional uh, Indonesian Malay attire as part of the disguise. He
Hmm.
like it got a live action TV series that was popular, and so yeah, like I said, it was inspired by a real life Japanese Muslim who was like a freedom fighter who was in Japan, who was like Indonesia, who fought against
Yeah.
like the British occupation and even fought with Japanese military in
Yeah.
World War One, during World War, I think around World War One, I think, or something like that.
Hmm.
Not sure if Japan's been involved in World War One, but yeah. But he was
Yeah.
so that real life figure was so popular. They made a number of movies about him. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was surprising. And then I found out that one of Japan's most iconic tokusatsu legends by pioneers who created Gecko Kamen, like Moonlight Mask, who created Rainbow Man. He was a Muslim.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Muslim. He converted to Islam when he studied Islam, and that he made a Toko hero show based on inspired by his studies on Islam called
Wow.
Messenger
Is that
of Allah.
Rainbow Man
No, not
or
Rainbow
some
Man.
other series?
Rainbow Man was inspired by Hinduism.
Oh.
This one was called I can't remember the Japanese name, but the English translation was called Messenger of Allah. But
Yeah.
it was a series that took place in a fictional Muslim Arabic Middle Eastern country. The hero was
Yeah.
being played by Sonny Chiba, a young Sonny Chiba.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the show is lost, and there's only a clip that you can only find a clip of it.
Yeah.
Clip of it. So unfortunately, it's one of those old black and white Toku shows that's lost.
Yeah.
It was done by Toei, and unfortunately, it's lost. It, it also had some manga tie-ins. You could actually find some covers of the manga online.
Yeah.
It's pretty. So yeah, it's some pretty interesting idea. Some pretty interesting information, especially when you consider like Ishito Tsuburaya, the creator of Ultraman, was a
Yeah.
Catholic, which is why you see a lot of these Christian references in some of the Ultraman shows,
Yeah.
which Ano used in Evangelion because he was
Yeah.
such a Ultraman geek.
Yeah.
Uh,
Isn't Suribara a Japanese Christian?
huh?
Suribara, E.G.
So I don't know. I don't know about that one to be honest.
Yeah. But I recognize the cross references and whatnot
Yeah,
and various other things.
yeah. Like there was a yeah Japanese. There was a lot of Christian imagery in many manga, Japanese media and
Yeah.
Japanese media and funny enough, when the when Osamu Tezuka was once criticized for being too liberal because he dared try to portray a Christian character in a more positive light.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, so yeah, basically, so yeah, that's But yeah, basically that. So yeah, base
Yeah.
Suzuka, I guess.
And
uh,
also Ishimori, also at Cyborg in '09, also
yeah,
created like '08 or something, the African guy. And
yeah,
over time he became more like less offensive looking. But he didn't mean to be like a joke
no, he did.
character. He was really serious. But his
Yeah,
design made him that way.
yeah, he written the character to be like a serious character. It's just
Yeah,
unfortunately many Japanese creators at the time, he was more familiar with how the Americans drew black people at the time.
yeah,
So yeah, that was unfortunate. But
yeah,
but it's funny enough, even though he still drew him that way, he started drawing other black characters in a less stereotypical light, but still kept the original design of 008 because I don't know, it was iconic, I guess.
yeah,
And so yeah, I love. Oh, and speaking of Cyber 009,
yeah,
I've been reading the manga online,
mhm,
and I found and when I reached the Middle East arc, it
yeah.
opens with an opens with a prologue that, I kid you not, explained the whole Arab-Israeli conflict better than any news coverage ever could.
Wow.
And this again, it's a '60s manga from Japan.
Yeah,
Then again, from what I read about Ishinomori, unlike the rest of his contemporaries, he actually traveled. He
yeah.
actually,
I heard about stories. Can I add one thing to it, to your statement? He also traveled to the U.S. to like a Comic Con once, along with Lupin the Third's creator, because
oh,
back in manga, what it was like long. Read through a Twitter thread. I forgot what it is, but basically, you got these mangaka that were influenced by Western entertainment,
ah,
like Gundam creator Yoshiyuki Tomino,
yeah,
Ishimori. They traveled.
yeah,
They liked Western media to the point they like. Even some creators preferred like Western media over Japanese media back in the day, like like animators, like mangaka, like basically from like doing studies to like going
yeah,
to other countries, and it's really interesting back
yeah.
then.
Hell, Osamu Tezuka big was a big fan of Disney, and was a
Yeah,
big fan of Disney, and he was a huge Superman fan.
yeah,
He was such a huge Superman fan that he was made an honorary member of the Japanese Superman Club. And during the time when the Christopher Reeve movie was being released over there.
yeah,
And it does make sense when you look at the images of the Captain Ambassador manga, which is lost
huh,
until Tezuka rewrote it, which eventually led to Astro Boy. Because
yeah,
or Mighty Atom, if you want to get faithful, be faithful.
yeah,
Because when you look at Atom in those early images in that particular pilot manga, he's wearing a cape,
yeah,
which of course Tezuka ditches when he actually writes the actual series. But yeah, it's and of course let's not forget Tatsunoko Studios.
yeah.
Their designs were heavily influenced by American comic books like Gotcha
Gotcha
Man.
Man, Speed Racer. Wonder why Speed Racer is super popular. Like basically super. It's iconic over here. Speed Racer and whatnot, especially with the boomer population. That
Yeah,
yeah, it's like deep into American culture, and it's not
it
even
was more
funny.
yeah it was more popular in America than it was in Japan.
Yeah,
So, and of course you got the Time Bokken franchise.
yeah,
And it's and I have to say, like, of all the retro character designs, I think the '70s Tatsunoko design is my favorite because I'm a huge fan of American comic books, but I'm also a huge anime fan. So that
yeah,
design, that perfect
yeah,
compromise design, really works for me. I
yeah.
kind of
Kind of
wish,
yeah. By Tatsunoko's designs in the '70s or so was around by a artist by Yoshi uh,
yeah,
Amano of Final
yeah,
Fantasy fame.
yeah, I know. Hell,
Yeah,
I was surprised when I found that out. But yeah,
yeah,
he worked on many of Tatsunoko's shows before he worked on Final Fantasy. It's
yeah,
it's kind of interesting. Like he was also supposed to be doing another anime related Amano anime related note. He was actually supposed to be doing some of the promotional material for that unmade Lupin the Third movie,
yeah.
which because during after Lupin the Third Part 3, they were trying to make a like it was the Oshi, it was like the Mamoru Oshi Lupin movie that wasn't made because it was too dark and too messed up for TNS, which would have ended with all the characters dying in an explosion and Lupin discovering that he's a fictional character. Like Amano drew promotional material for that, which was as like a skeleton of a winged angel, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, it was which was like fucking. It was like really weird. So I can totally see why TMS said no to that. No to Ocean's original idea, because if they did that, maybe Lupin the Third wouldn't have survived that movie. That would have been the end of the franchise. There.
Lupin the Third being a fictional character and wearing a black jacket. It would have been called Black Jacket would have came out. Like characters dying, iconic characters. Those guys, his crew and them are so iconic you can't basically kill them off. Yeah. It's like the example for Sonic the Hedgehog. It becomes super overly dark and gritty. Sonic's friends started dying out of nowhere, and Sonic realizing that he was a fictional character.
Yeah,
that'll just pull people out of the franchise like that.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
Also, Oshii got a chance to try to use some of that concept in his episode for part 6.
Yeah.
Part 6.
Oshii went back to Lupin the Third. Didn't know that.
Yeah, in Lupin the Third Part 6, one of the gimmicks they used was that it had several episodes that had guest writers.
Yeah.
And one of them was Oshii.
Yeah.
They also had a number of anime like there was one anime writer who was, I can't remember his name, but he was like a veteran writer whose credits goes back to the 60s Astro Boy anime.
Yeah.
And they also had a two-parter that was written by a famous Japanese novelist.
Yeah.
Novelist who likes writing detective stories, but also loves writing crossovers between iconic Japanese detective characters like Akishi Kogoro, who actually appears in that episode.
Wow.
Yeah, it was basically an episode where Lupin the Third finds himself in the past somehow, and without spoiling, there's an explanation of that. There's an explanation of that, but I'm not going to spoil it in case you want to watch it. It was a pretty interesting. Although it's not as good as Part 5, which is my favorite season. Part 6 was okay. It wasn't. It's the weakest of the. It's the weakest of the revived era, basically.
Yeah.
And then again, after a fantastic season like Part 5, it's kind of had big shoes to follow to fit.
Yeah.
And when it comes to anime, I haven't been watching much of the newer anime because a lot of them don't really interest me.
Yeah, I understand the feeling. Like, basically, can I say one thing here about that? Like, basically, it's too cookie cutter. It's like the benefit of the doubt. Like, basically, the quote by my good old friend, fellow Katana, Mackenzie Critique, says, it's the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's like anime becoming mainstream. It's like the benefit of the doubt. You got so many cookie cutter type stuff that they're being exposed to the mediocre stuff than their actual good stuff that I'm being exposed to. And it's really interesting, from like people missing out on Lupin the Third to Gundam, apparently.
Yeah, like especially with the whole mecha's dying crap.
Ugh. Yeah, it's not dying. I hate that. It gives me a pet peeve. Like, it's not dying. It's thriving. But you don't care.
Yeah. However, there are some new anime I still watch with interest to me, like Ranking of Kings. I love that series.
Yeah, because it looks different.
It looks different. It looked different, and it had this fairy tale story type of design, and that intrigued me. And also the main character, is like he's deaf. He can't. He's not. He pretends to be deaf, but he can't talk. So he's kind of like a disabled main character, which I found really intriguing. Although they do explain as to what happened to him and how he got that way. It was like some mystical shenanigans. So
yeah.
So it's not shenanigans. So, but but still, they actually have a mute main character in an anime, which I'm surprised they like. There is a. It's actually based on a manga that's
Yeah.
still running. It hasn't even completed yet, so that's why there's no second season because the manga is still ongoing. Going, and
Yeah.
I've also watched Moriarty the Patriot because I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, and
Yeah.
the whole concept of Moriarty being the anti-hero who's trying to expose the corruption of the class system intrigued
Yeah.
me. So I really liked it, and of course, its version of Sherlock Holmes is like one of my favorite incarnations of Sherlock Holmes. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
because it actually ironically, it felt more faithful to the original Conan Doyle incarnation than Cumberbatch's version. So ironically,
Yeah.
and also the manga's still running. Also, they did something that made me go because
Yeah.
because let me explain. Like the anime and manga, it tends to go for historical revisionism, which okay, that's fair enough. Makes
Yeah.
things interesting, makes things interesting. But this recent art they did, like Sherlock and Moriarty, after the final episode, after the final problem, they end up in America. They end up in America, and they're assisting with Billy the Kid, who faked his death and works for the Pinkerton Detective Agency to stop this group of bandits.
Yeah.
He actually reveals that the whole Civil War thing, the whole the whole Civil War thing was started because the North wanted to conquer the South, not because of slaves. And I'm like, I mean, yes, some of it was
Yeah.
true, some of that is true, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt too. What's the word? It felt too much like one of those conspiracy theory you hear from the far right groups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I know. I know the North government they were politicians. They were backstabbing politicians. So
Yeah.
a lot of them wanted they didn't always they weren't caring for the slaves, but some of them the North did. So pretending
Mhm.
that none of them were felt I don't know. It felt wrong to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like saying like, oh, the entire South were racist, which again is kind of an
No.
insult to people in the South who weren't racist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's like it's
It's only the white landowners.
yeah, yeah, there were yeah, what yeah, because there were actually because like I read there were actual people in the South that were sympathetic to the slaves and actually tried to help slaves, but
Yeah.
but they never but for some reason the media doesn't acknowledge those people for some reason.
Nope.
It's always no, the Confederates always have to be bad. It always yes, yes, of course. The Confederacy, yes, a lot of the Confederacy had a lot of systematic bullshit that was
Yeah.
horrible. And okay, let's stop there because we're getting too political here.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
Sorry about
Yep.
that.
Yep. Exactly. I didn't know you basically took over the whole podcast and you giving out all these interesting points that you decided to go on, and I didn't even mind.
uh, yeah, sorry about that. Because one of my favorite same topics was history back in school. I
Yeah.
loved history.
Same here. I loved history too.
Yeah. So yeah, trying to go back to anime.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we were talking about the culture war thing and how it affected how I hated anime being dragged into this crap. Because
Yeah.
I miss the times when you can actually say about, this anime here has some elements that was inspired by that may have been inspired from this real life incident or whatever, without someone saying, "You're trying to make anime too political. Stop it!" I'm like, I'm just making an observation here. No,
Yeah.
seriously, that actually happened to me on a Discord when
Yeah.
when I when I posted a link of from a clip from Victory Gundam or Gundam
Yeah.
Victory. I don't
Yeah.
know what the where which was the scene where one of the soldiers discovered that the Gundam pilot was a
Was a
kid,
kid. Yeah.
and he basically killed himself because of it because he was so
Yeah.
upset by this. I basically said, "Wow, not much
Yeah.
not much escapism in this scene." Well, no
Yeah.
escape. Yeah. And then this one guy said, "Why are you trying to make anime too political? You're ruining anime." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm just making an observation here." Said, "No, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't put politics in anime." And I'm like, Well,
dude.
there are creators who intentionally take elements from real life elements that were political into their anime, and they're like, and they're like, prove it. And I said, okay. I picked and I linked to him an interview with the creator of Bottoms and Dugram, where he openly states that one of his biggest influences on his work was the Cold War,
Yeah,
especially Vietnam. Like when you
yeah,
watch Dugram, which is a mecha
yeah,
anime he did,
yeah,
you could tell it was heavily influenced by what was going on with the whole Vietnam, with the whole Vietnam situation. So
yeah,
so yeah, and when I posted that, he was like, "Oh, okay, okay, oh, okay, I see your point now."
yeah.
So that's the thing. If you try to present facts to these people, they might actually understand, or they might not. I mean, might not. Some of them might not. They might actually go. They might still put. They might go no. They might still not listen. But it's worth a try to present facts to these people instead of throwing insults. Because if you throw because if you try to if you throw insults or act emotional with these people, they're gonna use that against you.
Yeah.
That's why when I see people, so yeah, and I'm like, and yes, that's why I hated when these people drag anime, or
Into
hell,
this mess.
yeah, oh hell, like recently, Bound into Comics. I hate that site. I hate that site.
Well,
Was All Might Being. They they took that one quote from Suzurai CEOs about keeping the Japanese core of
feeling of it.
Ultraman into one of their articles, and people and their fan base were like, "Oh, good, he's trying to keep anime away from the West. Good, he's trying to keep the Japanese. He's trying to leave the old Japanese, keep nativism. Well, hello, and trying to keep the nativism alive." And I'm like, dude, like I can confirm a lot of Ultraman fans, especially on the official Ultraman Discord, were not happy about that. They were not
They
happy.
found out about that.
They were not happy
This,
about things being dragged to that cultural crap,
yeah, exactly. And
especially the
speaking of
whole.
Ultraman, can you explain? Can you go little in depth about your experience of the official Ultraman Discord?
Oh yeah, basically you have to log on to the Ultraman Connection website to register. It's for free, by the way.
For free? Don't you have to pay money for it?
No, no, no. You don't have to pay money to be. You don't have to pay money to register there to be a member there. And
Yeah,
once of course, you have to pay money if you want. Of course, you have some of the free episodes available, or free movies available. Although they have some stuff you have to pay rent to get,
yeah,
like like, of course.
yeah,
But yeah, no register. No, the registering is for free. And once you register, they'll they'll show you the link to the Discord will come up.
yeah,
Come up, so you can click on it and then click on it and apply to the Discord. So yeah,
yeah,
so yeah, and yeah, it's basically and like some of the people who work on the Western overseas release of Ultraman franchise come onto the Discord from time to time for like
yeah,
Q&As and stuff like that. It's really cool.
yeah. It
Like
is really cool. I saw
they
some
actually,
screenshots.
yeah, yeah. You just see the screenshots of the questions I had. Yeah,
Yeah,
I asked several questions I want to see the the Momoshima manga. Like I want to see
yeah,
that properly translated. And I'm like, will we see like and I also like to see like I would like to see like an old like a science team, like a multinational science team like they did with Gaia and Max again.
yeah,
Although again, because the science teams are already multinational. Like that was kind of the cool point of the original series, that in the 1966 series, even though we followed the Japanese branch, it was part of an international organization that was based in Paris. And we
yeah,
actually got to see a number of foreign members in a couple of episodes. So it,
yeah.
so
And one
that's
of those foreign members in Max was actually the host of Ultraman Live
yes,
English Edition.
yes.
Yeah,
He actually, yeah, that was yeah. And who, yeah, he has become basically the face of. He's become the face of the Ultraman for the English speaking fandom.
yeah,
What's cool, they actually have a different language Discord for people who want to speak different languages, including Arabic, which is
yeah,
cool. And wow, Ultraman, I didn't realize this until couple of years ago. But Ultraman is very popular in Indonesia and Malaysia.
It is. They got
I
their
mean,
own Ultraman there.
yeah, Ultraman Reboot, which is
Yeah.
which is like, as I said, is Malay for storm. Also,
Yeah.
surprisingly enough, he wasn't the only Ultraman to have a name inspired by by Malay language. Because Ultraman
Tiga.
Tiga's also Malay for something. I can't remember what it was, but
3.
three. Okay, yes.
I'm not Indonesian. I'm American. But I want to go there, man.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
basically,
anyways, this place is for free, and I think I talked to one of the members there on Twitter, and he was pretty alright. Thought they
yeah,
never respond on Twitter comments.
yeah, they never, yeah, they don't really like to use Twitter that much.
Yeah.
Which, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Don't blame them.
Yeah,
I'll just go to Discord. So it's for
Yeah.
free. You sign up for free, and the
Yeah.
Discord's for free.
yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like Twitter went crazy with the whole Elon Musk crap, and I get it. Elon Musk, he sucks. I don't like him. He's a troll. But come on, guys, like to say I
Yeah.
won't join Discord if he buys it. I mean, so they're just okay. So it's being moved from one corrupt businessman to another corrupt businessman. Not much of a difference, really.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God! So some of the culture war hacks were sucking up to Elon Musk for some reason.
Don't know. Don't know why.
Maybe because he was pissing off Twitter or something.
Yeah,
it was-
that's what it is.
I really hate that. And hell, some of them are actually going, "Oh, look at the Top Gun movie. Look at the Top Gun movie pissing off the HCWs." I'm like, where? I don't see anybody complaining about the Top Gun film, except
Dude, people are praising it.
yeah, everybody's
I
loving
want
it.
to see I want to see Top Gun movie. I want to see the first one and the new one. I love Ace Combat.
Yeah, Top Gun is one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite Tom Cruise movies, and one of my favorite '80s movies I watched as a kid. I love to watch the sequel, but I'm still a bit paranoid of going to cinemas at this time, especially since there's still a lot of people in Egypt that are not exactly properly following safety procedures and have not even taken the vaccine yet. So to be safe, maybe I'll go to cinemas when I move back to the UK. Yeah. Oh yeah. Spoilers. I'm planning to move back to UK around August. I was supposed to move there in June, but my brother told me no. Let's wait. I was supposed to go there around like April, but my brother said no. Let's wait. Let's wait till August until things get better. Because the kids are having holiday now, and it might be because I'm going to be living with them for like about a month or so until I try to find my own place. So yeah. By the time I actually move to England, maybe I'll try going back to cinemas again.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, I love Top. So yeah, I don't know. Like the closest thing I found to anybody complaining about Top Gun is like the stupid Screen Rant article that's saying that why they didn't complain about why they didn't tackle toxic masculinity, except dude.
It's a man movie.
It's a man movie.
Fighter jets are manly. Number 2.
Plus, the film does acknowledge that his attitude from the first movie doesn't exactly fly in the sequel.
Yeah.
Fly in the sequel, so it's not. So yeah, I don't get the complaint. It's really, but other than that, I don't remember seeing any actually quote unquote SJW complaint about Top Gun.
Yeah.
I think they're just saying that because it's making more money than Doctor Strange too.
Yeah.
Which of course they tried to make a huge deal about how it's an SJW movie because Amanda Chavez and blah 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 whoa blah 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 and all that crap.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that they also tried to do it with the Miss Marvel show. Although Comics Mike Perch did do a video saying that his daughters actually are enjoying the show so far, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. So yeah, and it's actually their favorite MCU show.
Yeah.
And that's good because I've actually seen interviews with the actress. She is so down to earth. She is so enthusiastic. And
You met the actress?
No, I didn't meet her. I've seen interviews with her.
Yeah,
I've seen interviews with her and
yeah,
behind the scenes, and she comes across as very enthusiastic, and
yeah,
and she's a genuine comic book fan. Like,
yeah.
I mean, she's a big Marvel. She's actually a big Marvel fan. In fact, one of her early comic books she got into was Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Was this kind
So
of
she understood the character well. She
yeah,
cosplays as the character. She
yes.
understands what the character is.
Hell, she
Wish
even
the MCU writers. I wish she had to talk with the MCU writers saying about their decisions and whatnot. I think she
yeah,
did once about the whole MCU is Earth 616, which
yes,
does not make sense.
yes. She was like, no, it's not 616. It's 1999 whatever. Blah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I don't know, was it the MCU writers or was it Sam Raimi doing his own thing?
It's the MCU writers. They wanted to make it the mainline MCU Marvel verse after the MCU overclips the original one in popularity.
Yeah, because
Because
yeah,
basically she explained the events of she. I was really impressed with the events of how she knows about the House of M.
yeah. It's like yeah, it's because the MCU is basically more successful in the comics at the moment.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why they're trying to do that. But I don't see the point. It's it's like those Snyder fans trying to say like the DCU is a true DC. I'm like, no, it's not.
no, it's not.
If anything, Marvel was the dark and greedy universe before compared to DC was.
Yeah, exactly. With the Ultimate line, remember how the Ultimate line fell because it
Yeah,
was too dark and gritty.
yeah. Which is sad because it didn't start out that way. I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man is a fantastic
Wasn't.
read.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. Ultimate Spider-Man, the X-Men run, then over time it became super dark and edgy for no damn
Yeah.
reason.
Hell, even that first Avengers story started out like it feels like a fun action movie
Yeah,
until the ending with the help with the Hank Pym and Janet scene where he decides, oh, remember that original that classic comic where Hank Pym slapped Janet? Let's crank
yeah.
it up to 11.
Well,
I'm like, why?
yeah,
Like that was Mark Millar, right?
yeah. Mark Millard and all these hacks and whatnot that want to try to be like Hollywood, like trying to be. They don't like actual superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's
what
so
happened to superheroes fighting bad guys and crooks in the
yeah,
comics?
it's especially so annoying because Mark Millar actually used to write for the Superman Adventures comic, and he was very good at it.
Yeah.
You remember that? It was like the comic tie into the animated series.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, basically, like when the DC anime universe happened, they made these comic book tie-ins, like the Batman Adventures comic, the Superman Adventures comic. Mark
Yeah.
Millar wrote several issues of the Superman Adventures comic, and they are really good. In fact,
Yeah.
one particular issue, which was one of those, which is like one of those, which was one of those different stories of different characters type of episodes, like the Simpsons episodes,
Yeah.
but it's considered to be it's usually put on one of the list of the best Superman stories ever written.
Yeah.
So yeah, one point Mark Millar used to actually write good superhero stories at one point
Yeah.
before he became an
Yeah.
edgelord.
Yeah. Exactly.
And don't get me started on fucking Injustice.
Oh yeah, the one superheroes becoming dark and edgy and whatnot. Man, I
Yeah,
know some superhero fans having beef with heroes becoming unneedily dark and edgy. I know you
yeah,
have beef with like Hero Geek and whatnot, but he really, for one thing, is he does not like his dark and gritty comic books.
yeah. That's probably the only thing I agree with him on. Everything else I don't agree with him on. Everything else, no, I don't like him. But
Yeah,
that's one of the one things I agree with him on.
yeah,
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 so yeah, basically, I was like, if I was writing if I was like given the chore of writing an Injustice game, you know what I would
yeah.
do?
What?
I would make this the final chapter, the actual final chapter, and have the main heroes basically be the classic like Adam West, Christopher Reeve, then the Carter Wonder Woman who find themselves in the Injustice universe,
Yeah,
and basically go like, yo, this is stupid, this is bad, and basically go like, so yeah, people say, and people basically showing after the ending of Justice 2, it went to shit.
Yep.
Like this dark, like say Dark Side or whatever came to the universe and screwed it all up because there was no Superman there to stop it.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically, like, let's say a monitor, let's say one of the monitors decides to pick different heroes from different universes, like say the Christopher Reeve Superman, the Adam West Batman, the
Yeah.
car Wonder Woman, the '90s Flash,
Yeah.
the live action Constantine,
Yeah.
uh, and let's see, the CW Stargirl,
Yeah.
and like boom, boom, there. And so they're interacting with this universe, trying to bring some hope in this universe. And so yeah, so
Yeah.
basically, it's me basically saying screw the Injustice universe. Here are proper heroes saving the day.
Yeah.
Speaking of CW, oh
Yeah.
boy, what a downfall that franchise was.
Yep. The CW universe is just like they're
Yeah.
unappealing in the first place to me.
I used to like them. Like I used to like the Flash when I first started out.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the first two seasons of Supergirl. I actually enjoyed the
Yeah.
first two seasons of Supergirl. But
Yeah.
now it's like the only good CW shows that are good are Superman, Lois, and Stargirl.
Yeah.
And like when I heard they were planning to make a live action live action Static Shock media, I'm like, please don't make this be made by CW because they're gonna screw it up with their social justice with their version of social justice stuff. And God, that God, who else? Oh, and of course, let's not forget Bendis's character they tried to make into
Oh. Oh my God, I hate Bendis.
um, Bendis killed the Superman line, basically. I mean, look at the sales.
Yeah.
I mean, despite the fact Phil Kennedy Johnson is doing a fantastic job in Action Comics right now, it's a great run, but it's not getting the sales because Bendis has basically killed it. And he ruined John Kent, which Tom Taylor is making even worse. Like when he revealed that John Kent was going to be by, I'm like, okay, I don't mind. Okay, let's see where it goes. And I'm like, okay, I don't like where this is going because he's like concentrating more on he's by, and like okay, but where's the story? Give me the story. And then and before that they made Tim Drake by. And by with a character from the '90s, with a minor character from the '90s, even though he had a long relationship with Stephanie Brown. Although to be honest, when it comes to Tim Drake, his relationships is one of the things is like a blur to me in my memory because I didn't really follow the Batman comics that time. So yeah, and I'm like, dude, you already have actual LGBTQ characters in the DC universe. Use them. Like you don't have to change these characters just to fit a quota. And oh god, it's really fucking annoying when they do that. And I hate being one of those people complaining about SJWs, but when they do that, it is annoying. You still there?
I'm still here,
Hello?
so yeah, I can still hear you, my friend.
Yeah.
Hello?
Sorry.
I can still hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's like I went on a tangent there.
Yeah. So what are you about to say?
So yeah, basically, I really hate being one of those people who complains about SJWs, but when these companies do this stuff for woke points, it's really annoying.
Yeah. I didn't.
Also,
Yeah, I'm not the anti SJW. I'm more of a centrist.
yeah, me too.
But this stuff is like annoying me to death, and it's
Yeah,
killing IPs. They're
yes, it
not
is.
making sales.
Yeah. What's
So what
what's
if he's gay? So what if he's a Jewish or a Muslim dude?
just
What is the
give us a good
story?
story.
Exactly. Where's the story? I want my hero to fight bad guys and
Exactly.
stop corrupt politicians and whatnot, or
Yeah,
expose them at least.
exactly. I mean, hell, look at TV media. TV media are doing what DC and Marvel are trying to do, except they're doing it better. Like there's a CBS show called FBI,
Yeah,
which one of the leads is a Muslim, and they tackle social political issues, and it's one of the biggest hits on TV at the moment. Like, it gets around
yeah.
like 10 million viewers,
Hmm.
and so yeah, a lot of people watch them. Like, a lot of people watch them. Hell, the Queen Latifah Equalizer reboot is actually doing well with viewers as well, even though that's also kind of a SJW woke points thing they made, but it's popular with viewers. So
Yeah.
I think that's the point. I don't think I think that's my point. That mainstream audiences don't really care about whether something is woke or not, as long as they get some entertainment value
Story.
out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me a good story and I'll be great with it. But
Exactly.
with the problem with most media is, my friend, not to be a hipster, but it is poorly written.
Yeah.
Look at Star Wars. Look at the Superman run you mentioned. Look
Yes.
at Star Trek. Look at you know who. And
Yeah.
all these people are pretentious to the point they don't even understand why their stuff is not liked, because it's not
Yeah.
just the SGW points, it's
It's the
also
right thing.
the writing. It's
Right.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's crap.
I mean, like the best, my opinion, the best thing to come out of Disney Star Wars era is Rogue One and Mandalorian.
Yeah, I just like Rogue One. That's about it. The Disney era, I was not liking too much.
Yeah.
And Beach, that is far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. But really, about the whole writing, like, it's like terrible writing. I don't like it too much. Like, basically, it's not connecting to me. I'm an
Yeah.
easy guy to please. Just give me a giant robot that looks cool,
Me too.
and you pilot it, and you fight giant kaiju, or you're fighting other humans with giant robots, and that'll be great. But if you want to add like social political points that doesn't date well in 5 years, and have
Do it well.
horrible characters that whine a lot and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that's not for me, bro.
Yeah, like I wasn't like. Here's the thing, I was already kind of mad with the Force Awakens, but the reason why what got me interested to watch Rogue One, because it had Donnie Yen in it.
Donnie Yen, I love Donnie Yen
Me too. Like I love
because I prefer kung fu films now than like Hollywood stuff these days. I lost faith in Hollywood because they prefer hiring these people that are making mediocre work. They're rewarding mediocrity.
Yeah. As long as it's not one of those overly patriotic Chinese films, which because those can be very cringy in their own right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was like what happened with Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is really sucking up to the Chinese government, and this while Shonen Fat being the base Chad that he is, was like, no, what you're doing to Taiwan is wrong, and the Chinese government tried to blacklist him.
Yeah.
But he survived because he's Shonen Fat and he's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's why
Shonen
Michelle Yeoh
Fat's
is mostly working in Hollywood. I think that's why Michelle Yeoh is working in Hollywood now. Mostly working in
Yeah.
Hollywood now because what's happening in China.
Yeah.
Because everything, everywhere, everything, everywhere, and everything, which I hear is a really good film. Good
Yeah.
film. The
Mhm.
film has like one of the main themes, one of her, like, her daughter is a lesbian.
Yeah.
That would not fly in China.
Nope.
China.
Not even black people
Yeah.
will fly in China.
I know. Have you seen? I've actually, because I watched Double Toasted, and they actually played a Chinese commercial, which was borderline offensive. It was basically it was a commercial for a cleaning soap. I'm washing like cleaning,
Yeah.
like
I heard about that one.
Yeah, basically, there's a Chinese woman who's waiting for a guy to fix her washing machine, and the worker, it turns out to be a black guy. Then he goes, then he's checking on the washing machine, and she pushes him to the washing machine. She turns it on, and after it turns up, and suddenly the black guy turned into a Chinese guy.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Bro, like, that was offensive. Like,
I don't know.
man, openly racist too, man.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, that was basically the first thing that made me realize how racist China is.
Yeah,
At least the people running the country
yeah,
and running the media as well. It's kind of sad
yeah,
too because from what I read, Jackie Chan used to be pro democracy until
yeah,
China controlled Hong Kong.
yeah. I remember when isn't Jackie Chan from Hong Kong?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and Hong Kongers don't like him because they thought of him as a traitor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's why he's mainly working mainland Chinese films,
yeah,
and and uh, and, and it's like yeah, basically yeah. Wow. I mean, why when the news first came out that Hong Kong was moving back to China, I'm like, oh, cool. So the Chinese getting back back their town. That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool. But I'm like, oh god, I wish that never happened.
yup,
Oh boy, it's like because 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 like when you actually go back and watch Chinese movies, nothing beats Hong Kong films from the 80s and 90s.
yeah.
I mean, you look at the like Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Donnie
Yeah,
Yen, Yo
Chow
from
Yun
that
Fat.
era.
Yeah,
It that was that was the hype at the time.
yeah,
I don't think they make as many female-led kung fu films they used to make back in the 80s and 90s anymore.
yup.
I mean, you notice that too, right?
Nope.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's like, yeah, basically, back in the 80s and 90s, it was like they had their own genre called Girls with Guns, and it was awesome. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gung Fu or Hero Bloodshed.
yeah, something like that. But it was its
Hero
own called
Bloodshed. Chow Yun Fat.
yeah, it was called
Yep.
It had this own called
Girls.
Girls with Guns, which had which was those movies starring Michelle Yeoh,
Yeah,
Cynthia Rothrock, and
yeah,
yeah, and it was really cool. And but for some reason around the 2000s, those type of films died down.
yeah,
It was like I'm sure we're still getting female-led movies. Yeah, I know that,
yeah,
but it's not as prevalent as it used to be back in the 80s and 90s,
yeah,
unless it's a TV drama.
yeah,
And uh, and uh, and it's kind of sad thing too because there are still a lot of stuff that comes out of China I still like the Detective D films. I really
yeah,
like those films. Like
yeah,
although funny enough, like the Detective D, like Judge D, he's like one thing home. Like he was based on a real life historical figure
yeah,
who was a magistrate who used to like be a judge or something. Although they're based in the folklore stories, they made him to a detective.
yeah,
And it was pretty interesting stuff. And also in the original stories, he was actually an older, overweight guy. But of course, in the recent movies, they made him younger and younger and thinner because and made it
yeah,
100% martial arts fantasy because
yeah,
that sells.
yeah,
I miss kung fu films that had that like I miss kung fu films starring guys like Sammo Hung because Sammo Hung he was like the guy was
overweight.
he was overweight, but he moved. He Jackie Chan said he was a better martial artist than him.
Yeah,
When Jackie Chan says that you're a better martial artist than him, that's high praise from that at
yeah,
least at that time at least. And
yeah,
but unfortunately we don't really see any Sammo Hung types anymore.
yeah,
I think that's a shame.
yeah,
Like what can you do? And of course, Bollywood films are really popular in Egypt. Bollywood films, of course, very popular.
yep,
They were very big in Egypt and Arab. They're still big in Arabic regions, although not as big in the 90s.
yeah.
And there's Japanese movies like the Japanese action movies of the 70s. Now, when you talk about bloodshed, now those were bloodshed.
Yeah. Didn't know they aired Japanese live action flicks in your region. Thought they stood in Japan mostly.
Yeah, I don't. We never got any Japanese. I don't think we ever had any Japanese films, but I got to watch some of them thanks to the internet.
Yeah.
And
They, yeah.
also, Also, we did have a popular Japanese soap opera air in Egypt called um, Moshi, Moshin. Rushin, I can't remember the name, but it was like an English dub of a Japanese soap opera that was very popular in Egypt in the 90s.
Yeah,
I think it was called Yushin or something. Like I can't remember. It was like a long time ago. It,
yeah,
it was really weird. It was like an interesting period. And also, when it comes to Asian media,
mm,
South in Arabic regions, it's South Korean drama that's popular over here.
yeah,
Like, like for some reason, South Korean soap operas have become big in Middle Eastern countries for some reason.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, I'm like,
yeah.
wow,
The South Koreans make some good stuff. One of my favorite movies is South Korean.
yeah,
Man
yeah,
from Nowhere.
yeah, oh South Korea,
Yeah,
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 like God, I'm like, yeah, they're like South Korean stuff I like to see, and
yeah,
like see some martial arts.
yeah.
Like they actually made like a couple of several years, like around the mid 2000s, they made a martial arts film about the Masoyama, the founder of
The
Kyokushin
Karate.
Karate,
Yes.
Fighter in the Wind, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
Like it was a film that tried to be a biopic, except it was 100%. It was mostly fictional,
yeah,
uh, fictional that, and also kind of a bit of a South Korean propaganda film.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, it's like, and yeah, and so yeah, basically, South Korea. So yeah, and how do I? But yeah, South Korea's stuff are very good, but
yeah.
oh boy, North Korean stuff, yikes!
Yep. Not good. I heard about that. They're not
Oh,
that good.
are you familiar with Hedgehog and World and Hedgehog, whatever it's called?
A little bit of it, but not that much.
Yeah, like I seen a video about it, and wow, basically it's a war propaganda using cute animals.
Yeah,
I'm like, and it's like really, it's like, and funny enough, I actually watched a lot of North Korean cartoons that were dubbed to Arabic, especially the ones that were dubbed by Mondo Studios that were done by Mondo, which is an Italian company. They're the ones who did that Italian just Titanic film.
oh, those guys?
Yeah,
Didn't know they dub in Arabic.
they did the second one, which is like that had that octopus with the dog nose.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like yeah, they did yeah they're like a big franchise. They did a lot of shows that they showed in many countries, like in English, in Arabic, in
Yeah.
Spanish. Like, and to be fair, some of them are good. Some like they did the Sandokan cartoon.
Yeah.
They did the Sandokan cartoon, and they did which was like which was good, and which is like basically the Sandokan character. Who anyone who doesn't know, Sandokan was a series of novels from Italy about a Singaporean pirate who fought against who who was like pirate who had adventures fighting against corrupt officials, other pirates, and a popular TV series. They made a cartoon show where all the characters were actual animals. With
Yeah.
Sandokan's being a tiger because his nickname is called Tiger of the Sea, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. But they also had a partnership with this North Korean animation studio
Yeah.
who made a lot of cartoons, including this cartoon called Leo the King, which is a Lion King ripoff, but was
Yeah.
also which was also a ripoff of that Jungle Book anime,
Yeah.
Mowgli in the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was so popular. It had several seasons and spin-offs, and
Yeah.
they mixed mystical elements. It's really like the first season they had like mystical elements, like the characters can fire lasers in later episodes, and then
Becomes shonen anime.
later seasons they even had a freaking World Cup season, as in the animals were playing in their own World Cup.
Wow.
It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Mondo actually has their own YouTube channel where they have a lot of their episodes online. So yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mondo, the Italian company.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they even made sequels to. They didn't just make a. They didn't just make a sequel to to their Titanic films. They even make a TV series that takes place after the second film. Although that's kind of hard to find right now.
Yeah.
Although some YouTuber actually reviewed that show.
Who?
Actually he did a retrospect. He actually did a review on many of their shows.
Yeah.
Like I'll try to link it to you after you do the chat. I'll try to find
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
the stream,
Didn't like didn't like the guy with the glasses did reviews too on one of those Titanic films. And you're surprised he got many spin-offs at the end.
Satanic film?
The Titanic film, yeah.
Oh yeah. Like the guy who reviewed it, he would the guy who reviewed it, reviewed all the Mondo shows. His avatar is basically a World of Warcraft type of OC.
Yeah.
It's like a blue gnome or something, and that's like his avatar. But he was able to have fun with it. He's one of those popular animation YouTubers who doesn't get enough attention, even though he's one of the better cartoon YouTubers, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I mean,
yeah.
One thing, he's not pretentious.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a message saying this one guy wants to jump in.
Yes, I know. I'm just wondering because basically how I'm going to... Oh, Discord. Let me just send him a message on this. Oh, nice. I deleted Discord off my phone.
Oh.
Because the messages kept on annoying me, so let me just delete my Discord. Great.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, well. So yeah, let me just see something.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I'm redialing this to record now. Thanks for dropping by, JT. Wait a minute. JT Vega. See, JT. New song section. Oh, found you.
Oh.
Let me just send him a message, send him an invite here. Where's that invite?
Oh, I found him. His name is sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. I just sent him an invite.
Yeah, okay.
I just sent you an invite via Twitter. Check your Twitter account. Check your Twitter account. Let me see if I can Yeah, I got you're in. I just sent you an invite via Twitter. Yeah, I just sent you an invite just now. Let me just see if that's in right now. So I just sent you an invite just now. And it'll be oh, nice. And when you get in, don't forget to share it. So here he is right now after the stream. How's it going, JT Vega?
Hey,
thanks for
how's it
dropping by.
going?
I'm fine.
What you been up to?
I'm right now chatting with Badr Bali here, really cool dude. We're talking about some stuff, but he got some really good points to the point he took over my podcast.
Sorry about that.
Episode.
The audio is kind of echoing on the live stream.
Yeah, that's okay, dude. I get that sometimes.
Omega, I actually found the YouTube I told you about. His name is Media Hunter Reviews.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, talk about the guy about the whole Mondo series and whatnot.
Yeah, the guys who did that horrible Titanic cartoon movie.
Yeah.
Well, one of them. Well, two of them actually. Because the sequel, the TV series. Somehow they made money off that, and over there, and they have a weird. Basically, their major franchises are basically rip off of better shows.
Yeah. There's been a lot of shows that try to rip off a lot of things, and it's they like isekais kind of rip off a lot of things too, but I don't think.
Yeah.
And it's like most of the shows that they do are always the same storyline, the
Cookie
same
cutter.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't blame them because that's what sells. Because that's what sells in Japan, and that's what they do.
But in this case, I mean, they actually rip off the designs. Like one of their biggest hits, which is called Jungle King Leo. Of course, by the title, you could tell it's either Lion King or a Kimba ripoff. But the designs of the animals are heavily ripped off from that Mowgli the Jungle Book anime from the 90s.
Well, I do recall that there was an anime that was based on a book, and I believe that got into some trouble, and that was the Lensman.
Also, Lensman, that's right. Yeah, I've heard about that. Came out with a video on that, and it was really interesting. Yeah, the original author did not like the animation. Yeah.
It was the estate that didn't like it because of the situation with the copyright issues.
So a lot of the episodes are lost media because of that.
Yep.
And they tried to attempt it with. I know they try to attempt it with other ideas. Like, I know that there was like a. I know that. What was that game? Oh yes, Mass Effect Andromeda attempted this with their own version of Lensman, and that's what it was.
Yeah. Also, I have to be. Although going back to my Jungle Book example, I have to be fair to Mondo. I mean, they kind of ripped up themselves because they helped co-produce the original anime.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's fair. But everything else is not fair.
I know, because they had to deal with those issues about why can't we make it easier for us to make the animation? The budget must be really good.
Yeah, and they got So instead of so unlike the Mowgli anime, which had a Japanese studio, in their show they had a North Korean studio.
Because they always do the out of the country type of thing where they pay them cheap wages.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I had kind of nostalgia for some of those shows because I grew up watching some of those shows because they were broadcast in Arabic countries. It's one of those. I didn't know any better, but what can you do?
There's a lot of South Korean animations that I was kind of surprised by because they do exist for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know that the best animator out of all of them was I forgot his name, Peter Chung.
Yeah, like when it comes the 70s of Korean animation gets a lot of flack for ripping up other stuff like anime, especially.
Yeah.
But, however, I will say I do have a soft spot for Type 1V. At least the first movie, because the first movie, at least it felt like its own thing, even though the design was heavily influenced by Mazinger Z.
Yeah.
However,
I like Mazinger Z.
Yeah, but the rest of the movies, no, not so much. I mean, for freaking hell, they did a movie which basically turned the Valkyrie from Macross and combined it with elements of Raiden. I mean, you just took a real robot mech and turned it into a super robot. Gave it a super robot elements. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Space Gundam V.
Yes.
Gundam V. I think you can watch it on Tubi.
Yeah.
Because some of those shows you can watch on Tubi, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too. Like they put it on there, and they also put on like all the not all of them, but the what was it, the Kamen Rider shows and also Ultraman shows as well. I was like surprised by it from them.
Yeah. It's really great that Ultraman is becoming widely available after all the bullshit that Soraya had to suffer through Shayo and UM Production, which is a Japanese company that work a lot of partnership with China. Have you,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've
They've
heard
been in
about this. Like
Malaysia,
that recent
too.
drama with that Chinese movie called Dragon Force, where they had Ultraman as being the bad guy.
If you watch that documentary by, I forgot his name, he used to do he does like a lot of VHS documentaries about
Victor
shows.
Shinshin?
I think so, yeah, Hinshin.
Yeah.
He actually talked about that, the fact that they had to go through a Malaysian company to help them archive it, and they had all the archives of the Japanese shows, and sadly they lost all the copies of some of the Ultraman episodes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and of course they had a falling out with this Malaysian company, but after a while they fought it out over the copyright of it. But luckily the Malaysians did honor the whole thing and decided to bring back the show with the help of the whole community trying to support it, because they wanted the show to come on air. They wanted to bring it on Blu-ray and everything. And surprisingly, what Hinshin kind of pointed out was like there was a little bit of a resentment towards it, but at the same time, you know, the Japanese want this show to come back as well.
Yeah. Basically my experience with Ultraman started out at a very different stage, because Ultraman Towards the Future, which was an Australian co-production.
Yeah, I watched that too.
Yeah,
I like that one.
It was actually released as a film compilation in Arabic markets during the 90s. It was actually released in cinemas in different Arabic markets. And at one point it aired on Bahrain TV. You know, that was during the satellite dish boom, which became popular in each of the main Arabic countries. I came across it and I was like, hey, this is kind of cool.
I remember it was aired on, I believe, Fox.
Ooh,
when I was younger.
Wow.
And I was living in Texas at the time. And my dad used to watch it. Like it was like the kind of the replacement of another show that I remembered, like because they took it off air.
Yeah.
It was called Captain Power, Soldiers of the Future.
Oh, it's Captain Power. God, that show brings me back. That used to, because we actually used to sell the toys over here, the Captain Powers toys, and they actually used to air the TV show. And oh boy, it was quite a ride. I mean, especially
I remember my dad. He didn't want to admit it, but he liked the show.
Yeah,
my dad liked Ultraman.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story about Ultraman, because my dad, when he was a kid back in the early 80s, late 70s, when they started airing Ultraman or a rerun of it, he loved it to the point it was one of his favorite TV shows. Like basically, he used to tell me stories that I thought he made up through his childhood or something. Till later on, I checked it out, and voila, it was Ultraman. So
he wasn't kidding, because I grew up in the 80s. They used to air like
Ultraman 7.
Ultraman
was
7,
it the original?
They also aired like the movies and everything, because that's how I got introduced to, like, I think it was Ultraman and Godzilla.
Unfortunately for me, Tokusatsu never really took off in Arabic region outside of stuff like Power Rangers or.
It was only popular in California, and it was slowly, syndicated into other states.
Yeah. Although one Subaraya production was a big hit with Arabic viewers in the 80s and 90s, which was Eisenborg. Although that was kind of a live-action anime hybrid.
Yeah.
The characters were all anime characters, but the sets and the monsters and the actions were all live action.
Yeah.
And it was like super popular in the Arabic regions, to the point that Subaraya recently did a remake of a video remake of one of the scenes in both English and in Arabic, which is pretty cool. That they put on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, because I was kind of surprised by it. It's like they make these shows. Oh, speaking of which, Omega, did you check out? Someone actually uploaded, and I could not believe it. They did this.
What?
Someone actually uploaded Mobile Suit, the Mobile Suit Gundam Kokoro's, if I pronounce it right, Doran's
Island on YouTube.
Someone uploaded on YouTube.
Wow.
I watched it,
That was
could not
great.
believe it. It was actually an okay film. It wasn't like the best film ever made, but I have to give it. I got to give him props for the animation style.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of like a hybrid between normal animation
CGI.
versus 3D, it was an okay film. It wasn't, but I was kind of surprised by the fighting. It wasn't always about the fighting in the story. It was always focusing on conversation.
Yeah.
Especially like the storyline where I'll give you guys a little bit of a spoiler.
I think I watched it already.
You watched it?
Yep, I watched it to a pirate site.
The third, you could have said the 7 Seas.
The 7 Seas, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, the 7 Seas, as in Sinbad.
I did find a scene that was shown on YouTube. It was like an added scene they added to add to the back like one
of the worst episodes of the series.
No, I seen an actual scene from the movie. Someone had a clip from the actual movie, which was a flashback of Duan's killing one of his colleagues.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, it wasn't in the original episode. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And which was made to expand on his backstory.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to involve the whole because secretly it had a nuclear weapon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Basically it's kind of nice that they've remade it to make it better than the actual episode because even though the episode is horrible and it's like considered one of the worst animated, the story is actually pretty good when you think about it.
Yeah, it was a good story. I watched it, the original 15th episode, and I was just like, even though the animation wasn't that good, the story kind of did make sense because it was like, and of course Doran kind of admits in the end, like, oh, I killed the kid's family.
Yeah.
And he kind of said it to Amuro, and he basically told him that, and Amuro was like, he understood what he felt, like he was guilty of what happened, but I understand the reason why he uses that Zaku was to protect the kids, because the kids were being attacked all the time, and he hates everyone trying to attack those kids, and of course he noticed Amuro, and Amuro was just a teenager.
Yeah.
It's like, and Amuro, he didn't want to kill Amuro because he knows that he's just a kid. He's not trying to, but he realized that Amuro wasn't really a bad person.
Yeah. It's like it was like one of the episodes in the original series that really actually tackled the whole war.
War's hell thing.
Yeah, war is hell thing. Yeah, it really, which is something like, because even though the actual anime does tackle war drama, compared to what we got later, it still feels more like a traditional mecha show, in a way. Like, in fact, a lot of the early Gundam show. I think that's one of the few issues I have with Gundam is that it tries to be a war drama, but they always have to end it with a main bad to go up against.
Yeah.
They have to because they want to sell toys.
Yeah.
It's the model kits that make the sales, baby.
I think that's why I appreciate mecha anime like Dugram. It actually felt like an actual war drama. Like there was no good guy
that's
or
what it was
bad guy
intended
in that show.
to be, because like most people, I think Tomo was kind of anti-war.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was more about taking action.
Yeah.
Against it. That's kind of how he felt about it. That's how he approached it in the storyline.
So basically what Gundam Wing tried to do, but didn't do a good job at.
I know they tried to, but they just kind of realized, we messed up badly. We're gonna have to start over.
Although ironically, that's still the most iconic Gundam show in America, in many markets, especially in America and Arabic countries.
I know, but I used to remember the approach that they had was basically, back in the early 90s, I do recall the fan base, but I recalled I encountered the Yaoi fan base at least.
Yeah.
I got the many Gundam Wing fan fictions I read on fanfiction.net.
Ugh.
I know, it was I know. I was that type of guy who went on fanfiction.net to see what type of fanfiction I can read because I wanted to see more stories, and I came across some, shall we say, some pretty
steamy
spicy
one.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, boy. And yeah, so basically, and that was like during my high school days.
Yeah.
And it was, and we come to Gundam, and also like with Gundam, like Gundam, like when you look, like Tomio did an interview recently, and you could see in the interview he's like, it's too late to actually, it's like too late to fix this world, and I'm like, man, that's a downer.
Yep.
It's kind of like he kind of, I think he read the 50 Shades of Amuro.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, these people, I can't help these people. They're too crazy in their delusions. I kind of have to give it to Hideki Anno because he kind of did point out the delusions issue.
Yeah. I can definitely see why Tomino would feel that way because Japan has its own issues going right now. I mean, it's not as bad as like what's happening in some countries, but there is like kind of a political division in some areas in Japan. Like there's like some people trying to go back to being more pro-nationalism. So
and there's some that are going full
liberal.
Yeah, liberal
open to
or
foreigners.
Socialist.
Yeah. And Tomino is definitely not one of those guys like that. Is not one of those pro-nationalist guys. So
it's the same with Miyazaki. He used to be he used to be like a communist, but after working in animation, he's like, I'm a capitalist now, bitch. Deal with
Yeah.
I think Tomino. It won't surprise me if Tomino saw that and it's like getting flashbacks of World War II. World War II.
Yeah, because people in that history of events, they mostly felt the tragedy of it. Like they felt the sadness of it. Like people lost their families to that bomb through radiation poisoning, starvation, and it was a tough time, especially economically for them.
Yeah, and since now Japan has now decided to be more actually get a military back again, which I'm sure upset some Japanese.
Yeah, they want to because they're it's a big fear to them politically.
Yeah.
Because basically they do not want what happened to World War II.
Yeah, basically
it's like gives them PTSD.
Yeah. Blue Nova actually makes a good point about this because he did a video about Shin Ultraman when he translated an interview with, I think, Higashi, I believe, or Anno, I can't remember who it was. One of the people who did the Shin Ultraman movie. They talked about how what Ichiro Tsuburaya did with the original Ultraman series was basically try to bring a more optimistic post-World War II future.
Yeah.
Where Japan, where the world's completely in syncs together in basically
united on a against an alien invasion.
Yeah. The Japanese science team is just a Japanese branch of an international organization. So that, and the Ultraman franchise is still doing that. So there are people in the franchise that still believe in that. That's why I had a huge issue when Bound into Comics, again, I hate that site. I hate it to death. I wish it would disappear. Try to take that quote from the CEO of Tsuburaya telling me how they want to keep the Japanese identity of Ultraman and said, to promote it, and their fan base was like, yes, base Japan, want to keep themselves full Japan, own like their native Japan. And I'm like, you don't really understand what he means, do you?
Yes.
Because I think what they mean by keeping Japanese identity, which is, Ultraman being making friends with people from other countries, like Ultraman they said, making friends with people from other countries, despite how many times you feel betrayed.
Yeah, it's like they basically said it's originality.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people liked about it because of its originality.
That's what it meant. But unfortunately, those culture war hacks decide to take it and say try to drag it as a culture war thing, and I'm like, and I can confirm this on the Ultraman official Ultraman Connection Discord. A lot of the Ultraman fans on there were not happy about that.
I can understand.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, especially within the Macross community versus Harmony Gold.
Oh.
Yeah.
Believe me. Yeah, for a while, I actually thought the reason we never got Super Robot Wars in England was because of the whole copyrights of all the different franchises. But no, it turned out because of the Macross thing.
Yeah, they had to take that out. I was because I was so upset. I was like, you guys really realize that you could have made more money off of regardless of even if it's Macross, you could have made more money.
Yeah.
Because they did make a deal with Big West over this, that they would allow them to put their content in the United States. Yeah, all the Macross stuff.
Past 87. And speaking of that had sorry about not speaking for a while, you guys. I was really interested into it, but let me tell you, that was one of the most happiest moments of my life. No lie. Because I love Macross, and I don't care if it's like post. I'm not getting the original, but at least I'm getting the stuff afterwards, like Plus, 7, Frontier, officially, so people can watch it without sailing the high seas for a long time, like I did.
I noticed that ever since Macross 7 started getting a lot more, with actually properly subtitles, start getting a lot more attention, there's less hate towards that show now. Because I remember back several years ago, a lot of Macross fans hated Macross 7.
Yeah, same here. I'm one of them.
I had some people hate that show, and
same here.
I watched it. I understand why they hate it, but it's not
slow
as bad
12
as most people make it out
episodes.
to be.
It has its charm.
It has its charms. Like, I watched the OVA series, and they were pretty good. I like the OVAs of Macross 7, but the series itself, I would give it a 6.
I think one of the things that hurts is that for many of the early episodes, like the main character, it's basically the same. It's basically it follows a Monsters of the Week format, and the main character sings the same freaking song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great song, but give me some variety, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like they always gave out the variety of it, and I did watch the episodes, and it was like, and I watched it again because it was hard to find those things, especially Macross, like Macross Dynamite, Macross Encore, and there was also, and it was like those were like the sequels to the series.
What I remember, there was a Macross 7 spin-off manga that concentrated on a different character who was part of a roller derby team.
Yeah,
like I was like, what's this guy do with Macross? Although to be fair, I only read the first chapter, and
it's basically to sell. It's just to sell another side story of Macross, because that's kind of what the original intention was. Especially when they introduced also Macross 2.
Yep.
And a lot of people, I remember a lot of people disliked Macross 2. I thought it was I liked the manga.
Yeah, same here.
The manga was
like Macross too.
Didn't they officially remove Macross 2 from canon because of the backlash?
Yep. Yeah. The backlash, and plus the creator was not involved in it.
That explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Studio Nui was at the time they basically had to put out a lot of stuff out of it. Like they did Saturday, they did like, I think they did Samurai Pizza Cats.
Samurai Pizza Cats. Oh my god, that brings back memories.
Yeah, and they also did Dirty Pair. They did a lot of other shows, and it was like, I even Cruiser Joe, and my favorite one that they did out of all of them was Techno Police 21C.
Wow, isn't that Bubblegum Crisis spinoff?
It sort of was, but technically it's
its own thing.
It's its own story.
Okay. Yeah.
because it was made in 1982, while the other one was made in the.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With Macross 2, with Macross 2, I seen the movie and I kind of enjoy it, and I love the opening scene.
But
yeah,
here's the thing: like Studio Nue, like I really like them, but now they kind of converted to Satellite.
Oh.
yeah. The animation studio.
Yeah,
They still make good mecha here, and they make good mecha design, but they went to Satellite along with Soichi Katamori.
yeah, because Mori kind of bought it out, and I'm kind of glad he did because he wanted to branch out to his own designs and his own design concepts. That's why.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, one of the things I found. Yeah, earlier me and Omega earlier were talking about how many Japanese creators were really into Western stuff. The guy who did the designs for the Macross Mecha is also into Western stuff. Like, he recently did a design for he's like a big Thunderbirds fan, and even did the design for one of the spaceships in that recent CGI Thunderbirds show.
Yeah. He also, like, I was kind of like surprised by Satellite, especially when they didn't just branch out from that. They also branched out from other animes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, they try to attempt to do because I know Shoji Kawamori is a big fan of Akibara. No, it's the
Idols.
It's the pop group. It's like the pop
AKB48 or something like that.
AKB48. Yeah, he's a big fan of that competition because he likes idols.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting though because he always loved idols, and that's why he made like a story.
Macross.
That's he made like a Macross story about it, like all the music and everything. Like he loves that hype of idol culture.
Yeah,
that's most of his main theme.
Because idol culture. I mean, I never. Yeah, basically, how do I say this? I'm not really into idol anime, but there are a lot of idol anime I do like Creamy Mami. I also used to watch Viga's idol anime retrospective before she had to stop that due to copyright bullshit.
Yeah.
I also used to watch a lot, and I also used to watch a number, and there was also another idol anime that was popular in Arabic countries called Eriko. Which is an anime which was made to help popularize this real life idol sequel called Eriko. I forgot her name, but you might recognize her because she played Meme in that horrible Dragon Ball Evolution film. She played Mai. Yeah, she played Mai. Piccolo's henchwoman.
Oh my god! Don't remind me of that movie, man. You just gave me PTSD. Like basically, that was terrible. Like they will film the DVD menu sequence. I said, nope, stop watching this crap.
Yeah, and she also played. I think she played like the grandmother or mother of Hero, one of the characters from that Hero series. I can't from what I read after her idol career, she retired from idol and moved to America to try to get into a career in acting in Hollywood.
Yeah,
which didn't really work out. Although she is working on a number of American productions.
Yeah,
and Eriko was a pretty interesting idol anime because it's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, the first episode opens with her parents. Actually, it midway point the first episodes, her parents, who own an idol company she works for, dies in a car accident, and now her career is being managed by her cruel uncle.
Yeah.
Who basically treats her like garbage.
Let's see what else. Other anime.
I think I heard about that. I think I saw an episode about that.
Yeah. It was really weird. Like, okay, how do we promote this idol we want to push as a big star and her popularity with sales? I know. How will we make a dramatic idol anime where her parents die and she suffers through horrible drama?
Genius. Genius.
Yeah, there was an anime that I liked. It was called, and it's sort of an idol anime, but it isn't.
Yeah.
And it was called. It was like a shojo in a way, but it was called Skip Beat. I
heard
like
about
the series. Good.
Skip Beat. I
Skip Beat.
I think I think I've heard about it. I haven't.
Yeah, it was about a girl who basically acts like a tomboy,
Ah,
and she got, I think she got was broken. She got dumped by her ex boyfriend, and to get her revenge, I believe she basically decided to become an idol, and she joined this company, and being that she doesn't know how to be a proper woman in the Japanese culture,
of course.
she kind of she kind of accidentally succeeded in becoming an idol because the president was there watching her, and he basically was surprised by her behavior and basically said, yes, that's the girl I want.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny when you say idol should act womanly. When you think about a lot of the iconic idol characters from the 80s became popular because of the Sukiban action go shows where they were unwomanly, like Sukiban Beka or Hanaga Asuka Gumi.
Yeah.
So I kind of find it kind of ironic how you allow these actresses to act like tough tomboy women in these shows, and yet you want them to act like act really girly and womanly in interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of find that to be kind of contradictory, basically. But boy, when it comes to
because her boyfriend was an idol, and that's why she was seeking revenge against him to become an idol. And it was actually a really good. It was actually a really good show, but sadly they kind of like canceled it after a few chapters, and I'm just like, oh.
Not the weirdest concept for an idol anime, for kind of idol anime.
Yeah.
The weirdest concept I heard about for an idol anime was AKB 0048.
Yeah.
Well, that one you're talking about earlier. About Big O was
the
talking
most
about
popular
earlier.
out of all of them was Idol Master.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And it was based on a video game.
Yeah,
Go figure.
I found out about Idol. I found out about Idol Master, the Idol Master game, because someone did a video playing the song of Wonder Momo, the Wonder Momo game. Anybody remember Wonder Momo?
No. I think I did, but never watched the series.
Well, actually, it was based on an arcade game. It was an arcade game where you would play this girl on stage playing a tokusatsu stage show.
Yeah.
First, the music starts with this very girly poppy song, but once you touch the flute to transform into a superhero, it becomes a hard rock superhero song.
Yeah.
And that's what the Idol Master video did when you did the Idol Master.
Yeah.
She would do the editing. First, it would like have her sing that poppy song when she's singing in her civilian identity. That when it goes to this hard rock sound, it changes. It transforms into.
Hey, didn't like Simple Gear was influenced by that concept?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was like an 80s arcade game, so I won't be surprised if it was a big influence.
Yeah, because basically with Simple Gear, it's like Idol's gone like Super Sentai and over the top shonen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like before when it first came out, people brushed it off and said it's like a generic idol anime. Then after like word of mouth of the final season aired in Japan, and then it started, and then people will start talking about it, and then Crunchyroll started to put it out officially, and then even more word of mouth grew about Simple Gear, making memes about go watch Simple Gear and whatnot. I watched some Simple Gear and I kind of liked it.
Yeah, Simple Gear.
Right.
Yeah. I should definitely try watching that one.
Yeah.
One from the characters some of the characters appear in Super Robot Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of Crunchyroll,
yeah,
Okay, why did they decide to make all their new stuff be behind a paywall?
What older stuff?
It's
Oh my God.
because their new
Owners.
decided, well, since we're not making much revenue out of advertisements, we're going to have to charge them because they spent a lot of money off of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they paid too much. Like I think it was like $1 billion when it should have been 600 million.
Yeah.
And they're trying to recoup the cost of it because Sony paid too much. Especially they paid for a deal with Harmony Gold. They paid they paid for the everything.
Oh my God.
That's how bad it is. Like Sony hasn't been making much money from their movies.
Yeah.
It's the problem is if you do that with Crunchyroll, you're going to lose a lot of subscribers that way.
They like I remember they owned
Funimation.
They had like
Aniplex.
They
own a lot of. They got money. They got their hands on the anime industry, man.
But here's the thing.
Here's
the thing. They used to have a streaming service called it wasn't Crunchy. Go ahead and say it again.
Daisuke?
Not Daisuke. They used to have another streaming service called Crackle.
Yeah.
And then they sold it. And then they bought another one. And I'm just like,
oh my God.
And then they bought a streaming service. And I'm just like, are those people really that stupid?
Wow. And the most annoying thing for me in the past was that they had several of the anime, especially the Funimation's titles behind a fucking goddamn region lock.
They could have used the website. They could have, like, I don't know why. If they were gonna use their stream, like they had a streaming service, then they sold it to the company that does Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I'm just like, you spent money, you had a service that was totally free, and you had to depend on ad revenue, and then you sold it off.
Yeah.
And then you bought a streaming service, which is Crunchyroll, for $1 billion. I had to put a face palm on that because that just made me realize how stupid they were.
Basically, when that happened, I was like, Super Rider removing Ultraman from Crunchyroll was a blessing.
Yep. Because Super Rider was like saying, they're screwing our shows pretty badly, so it's not a good idea. So let us take advantage of this and put it on. Let's do it our own selves.
Yeah.
Because they probably watched the Gundam thing, the Gundam channels, and they said, like, let's do our own thing. And then, voila, they even make their own, like, English-produced shows, versions of their shows, which they actually sometimes have, like, it's not corny, but it's actually pretty cool. They even have the Japanese actors from the recent shows be on as guests.
Cool.
And they're actually pretty entertaining. You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard about that. I never actually watched anything.
It's on the Ultraman. It's on the Suibara channel.
Oh. Well, I definitely check it out.
Saw Nichols and whatnot. The guy, the English guy from Ultraman Max.
Yeah. Oh. And here's the thing that I found out. Sony is even bought out the rights to make a Robotech movie. Giving Harmony Gold money to renew the license.
Oh,
God damn it!
But at least we got the post 87 shows and materials.
Yeah, so that's what happened. That's what caused this whole. We own the rights again, guys. We're gonna put out some really good stuff right now this year.
What?
And plus, they also did a good thing that they allowed because they made a deal with Big West that they held that they're no longer going to try to
block their content
as much.
Okay, yeah. Sony. You had enough money to do all that, and yet never had enough money to actually release the 2003 Astro Boy anime with the original Japanese version and the original soundtrack?
Wow.
Because when I read, the reason why the English dub of that anime never had the original soundtrack was due to copyright.
Yeah,
I don't know how the hell that worked.
So what happened was, let's put it this way. Warner Brothers didn't have the money to put out the stuff thanks to freaking Batwoman.
Oh.
I still blame Batwoman for this because they lost a lot of money out of all the things they did. Warner Brothers was planning to make but I understand why, because of the fact that Robotech was planning to make a movie, but sadly it was like Warner Brothers couldn't do anything because they were basically sitting on there like, who's going to direct it, and no one was interested in directing it
Because everyone thinks Macross is the real deal, and plus Robotech's memorized by boomers, Gen Xers and boomers. That's my suggestion.
I just lost faith in actually making a proper Hollywood anime movie after all the nonsense we went through, like with Death Note, the Cowboy Bebop show. Like the only good one they did was
Battle Angel Alita
movie and Alita.
Yeah.
And of course people say Edge of Tomorrow, but that was based on a novel, not a manga.
Yeah.
And God, Batwoman. God,
Yeah.
I really hated that show, and it hates me to say this because I actually like the Kate King character from the comics.
Yeah.
I really like that character, but that show really did her dirty.
Yeah.
And what's worse, it made people hate the character without even reading the comics. They're like, I've actually heard people go like, "Oh, the only reason why people like this character is because she's a lesbian." I'm like, no, she's actually a good character in the comics, but the show completely screwed her up.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts on this one. I got a question. What are your thoughts on the Rick and Morty anime?
Here's my thoughts. I have no thoughts.
I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah. What's the point?
There's been news that they announced that they are going to greenlight Rick and Morty anime. It's only going to be on Adult Swim and HBO.
I got the point of the short they did because it was like part of their initiative. It was like part of their different styles, short styles they did in between season 2 and season 3, I believe.
Yeah,
or something like that. And one of them was an anime style one in Japanese, and that was pretty good. But I didn't really ask for a Rick and Morty anime series.
No.
I'm sorry I brought this up. It's just like I was like reading the news right now, and I'm just like, oh god.
Also, to be fair, it's not surprising. Remember, we had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anime because of the popularity of the 80s series.
Yeah, I believe it was an OVA series, and I wish they would have brought it out in the US, but I never got to see it. I might watch it online if I ever get the chance, because I know it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to see and also Marvel has been trying to do their own anime. Like you had
I believe
Avengers.
Marvel did, but this was like I think it was like years back. Yeah, they did release Marvel animes, but unfortunately it was under Sony. Yeah, I did watch them. I did watch the Ultraman one by Madhouse. I did watch the X-Men anime. I did watch what was the other one?
It was a Wolverine anime?
Blade anime.
Oh, Blade. Okay.
Like, I believe those were the three that they let me see. X-Men, the Marvel anime. But Sony owns the rights to those animes because they had Wolverine anime,
Yeah, they had
the Avengers Confidential, Black Widow and Punisher anime, Iron
they
Man
had
and
the
X-Men.
Iron Man anime.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the Iron Man anime was the first one they made.
Yeah, it was the first one they actually previewed,
Yeah.
and it was done by Madhouse Animation, but sadly they decided to instead of the normal animation
Yeah.
that they were known for, they decided to go with the 3D animation.
Oh. I remember hearing people complaining about how Tony Stark it doesn't act like Robert Downey Jr. and I'm like, of course, he's acting
he's
more
not
like his comic counterpart.
Yeah, it's not Robert Downey Jr. It is just Tony Stark as himself.
Yeah,
Like even the '90s cartoons try to didn't portray him as Robert Downey Jr. because he had like in the '90s cartoon he had a little bit of a sensitivity
yeah,
about certain things. Like he basically cared about things.
yeah. He was more like his stories were more dramatic. Like in the '80s, especially like after Demon in the Bottle and his company almost collapsing and Tony Stark was a more dramatic character, but the Robert Downey Jr. character just made the character more popular to a mainstream audience. So now when people think of Tony Stark, they think of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, the reason why Tony Stark's a dick is because he basically had to work for everything.
Yeah,
especially when his condition worsens. Like he basically wants to stay alive to actually stop all the things that he believed he caused, because it was his responsibility to take action against it, because he basically didn't want people to suffer like he did.
I mean, heck, in the comics for an extremely long time in the comics, he actually kept a secret identity. In fact, he made that Iron Man was actually his bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was his suit of armor that protected him from all the things that happened.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like and I was like, it was pretty. So basically, the MCU it just started out, it changed its own thing, it did its own thing. So,
well, I can't help but laugh at the Captain Marvel anime thing.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel anime.
Yeah, like there's like pictures of Captain Marvel. Like there's like a little bit of art. But it's not really an anime. It's just some people doing like fan art of it.
Oh,
yeah.
Because I do know she appears in the future Avengers anime.
Oh yeah, she did.
And she's actually, of course, she's actually a lot better written in the anime than she is in the comics.
The future the Avengers.
Yeah.
And
and
we're the future Avengers. We're here to stop the forces of evil by destroying the planet Earth.
Yeah, funny enough, like when you talk about like this Captain Marvel fan art, because this character called Common America, who became a big hit, she was created as a parody of Miss Marvel.
I read that. I actually have some of the comic books.
Yeah, it became a big hit, and even to the point that some people in Japan know it. That somebody just did a fan comic in Japan,
and it's selling on Comic Cat with various artists.
Yeah, it's like
especially in Japan
and the shonen.
Yeah, it's really incredible how this character became such a big underground hit.
Yeah, in America and Japan. But the funny thing is, it's not. Yeah, the creator follows me on Twitter. He's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
Pete Creepy. Yeah, he's really he's really cool and whatnot.
Yeah.
To be honest. And
no, I heard. Yeah. Although he ended up being one of those guys who's stuck in the middle in the stupid culture war crap because people think he's part of Comicsgate, even though he said he's not, and he pissed off even Van Sciver because he didn't want to be part of his crew.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ethan's like, I kind of agree with a lot of people. Like Ethan's becoming like a little bit out of whack. And the only person I have to respect out of all the people, he's neither any of those sides.
No.
And is Brian Pulido.
No.
Because he actually makes he's still continuing making his comics, and he's independently doing it by himself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It's really cool because the thing is, when people talk about all the comic book comics and saying how they're going to revolutionize the comic, I look at it and I'm like, those don't look very good.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's Lady Death. Like, that's his franchise that he created.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy that did Lady Death and whatnot?
Yeah, that's Brian Pulido.
I have to admit, I'm not really familiar with Lady Death. I'm mostly know the character through the movie.
Yeah, Brian Pulido is he was one of the artists. Like, if you look up his bio.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out. It's just that, Lady Death, I'm familiar with the character through the movie, which wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Because there was an anime movie that it was one of those movies
that
tried to be like edgy and violent and gory. And I'm and my reaction was meh.
Yeah.
So that kind of put me off the character.
Because the character's supposed to be dark and edgy and broody and whatnot. Yeah. It's supposed to be really underground and whatnot.
Yeah.
Really edgy stuff.
Yeah. I guess kind of like why I prefer Vampira, because Vampira, she's kind of campy.
Yeah.
But basically, going back to what I said earlier because I used to watch Linkara. I still watch some of his videos. He used to have someone called Iron Liz who's now left. They went they kind of broke up and they're on bad terms.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's become more on the Comicsgate side, and she basically took his that webcomic that Linkara used to do called The Light Ray, what the fuck it was called. Tried to make his own comic, and even having a guy who's actually part of Comicsgate, self-proclaimed Comicsgate art to do the art for him. I've seen the art, and the art looks like crap.
Yeah.
It looks. I mean, I've seen free webcomics that were better drawn than that.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in Comicsgate that, I kind of do respect, because some of them try to attempt to do good stories. Some of them, not so much.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, for those who don't know who Brian Pulido is, he also is the creator of Evil Ernie.
Evil Ernie. The most edgiest comic I've ever read.
Yeah, and also he did Chastity. He did, but he also created La Muerte comic book, which is currently in his independent works. He also, and he's a really, and also he did a lot of other works, and I know that he did.
Yeah, it's kind of sad how a lot of actual good comic writers are kind of stuck in the middle of this culture war crap. Like me and Megan just talked about Philip Kennedy Johnson's run in Action Comics is actually really good, but it's not selling because Bendis has ruined the Superman line.
Yep, like we did with Spider-Man. Don't forget Spider-Man in one more day.
And the funny thing is, it's like the only thing that's selling well is Batman.
Yeah.
Batman and Nightwing. Well, Batman, Nightwing, and Justice League. And that's about it.
Yeah.
And Marvel still is selling okay. I mean, Miles Morales is doing really well. Which I'm glad, because I actually do like the character. Although I wasn't a big fan of the character, after I watched Spider-Verse, I actually...
Like the character.
Yeah, I really like the character. What happened? He got disconnected?
That what happened here? Let me check the chat. He probably got disconnected or something. Let me just send him another invite.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, but wait a minute. It's over 2 hours now.
Yeah. I guess I have to leave anyway.
Okay, so let us end this here. So anyways, this is your boy, the Omega Katana. If you enjoy, sorry I didn't spoke much because my friend Bali here. Wait a minute, he wants to come back here. So
sorry about that. I got disconnected.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was about to end the stream anyway because like over 2 hours now, and it's about to be really good. But I decided to like end the stream if it's alright for you guys
That's fine.
and whatnot.
Yeah. I was about to leave anyway because I was planning to stay for an hour, but I was having a lot of fun, so I might as well stay another hour.
Yeah, thank you.
So it was pretty cool. Like it was pretty cool being around, chatting with you guys, and
Yeah.
chatting with you guys, and talking about stuff, finally letting stuff out of my chest because
Yeah.
because Twitter can really piss you off sometimes,
Yup.
And
I understand the feeling, dude.
And Critical Drinker basically, like, I found out Critical Drinker lied about Miss Marvel becoming a superhero because of envy and jealousy, which is not what the character not why a character became a superhero, but that's a story for another time. I don't want to get.
I was also upset with him about the whole She-Hulk thing because he did a review on that thing. He didn't even bother to mention that She-Hulk was the cousin of Hulk,
who
had
Bruce Banner,
and how she got her powers, which was a blood transfusion.
He's looking for the views. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, just any other YouTuber.
Just like any other YouTuber.
Yeah, but I don't really think he's a bad person. I just think like he probably wanted to get that out there just because it's like content.
I'm sure a lot of them are good people. Just I don't like how they try to get cheap views by actually lying or ignoring stuff.
Yeah, I admit I make mistakes. Go ahead.
We all make mistakes, but we all make mistakes. But I feel like these guys they intentionally make these mistakes because that's what their audience wants to hear them say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Comics by Perch doesn't fold that crowd because I really like his stuff.
Yeah. And critical drinker. Or you don't like him either. What?
Yeah. I like comic. No, I hope Comics by Perch doesn't go to that line.
Yeah. Because I'm getting really sick of this whole culture war thing. Like everything's a freaking war. Everything's freaking Twitter. Man, I just want a good story.
Yeah.
And some good art.
People.
Yeah, that's why I love about Perch. He said, "I'm not with the comic book gate side. I'm not with the SGW side. I'm on the side who wants good comics." And I'm like, yes, that's why I love him. That's why I love his videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming a problem with both sides because both sides are practically destroying the industry itself. And they don't even realize
without them even realizing it. It's like a scenario in the Voltom's verse where two sides kept fighting to the point it's like hundreds and hundreds of years and they still want us to keep on fighting. Or a better example, the Legend of Galactic Heroes, the Alliance and the Federation wanted to they fought for literally years and there was no ceasefire to the point the Empire basically won.
Yeah.
Now
that's a war. Now that's an anime war drama that really captures.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm going to point out something. Although one side's winning, the other side's winning. No one's winning.
Nope.
Exactly.
No one is even winning at all. And after looking at both sides of the whole thing, even my involvement in it, I realized no one was winning.
Just like real life politics.
Yep. No one's winning at all, and the perfect for the profile pic with Kiriko as his time as an elite Red Soldier unit, which to get in you have to kill your own soldiers for and survive in the training exercise.
Okay, but to end this on a positive note, I read Superman Smashes the Klan. Love it. It's a great comic. One of the best Superman comics I've ever read. I'm already familiar with the radio show. I already listened to that original radio story it's based on. It's also good. Give it a listen. If any of you haven't listened to the Superman radio show, give it a listen. It's really good. Yes, it's an old radio show, but it's still worth listening to. And the comic is also great. I love it.
You almost sound like that one YouTuber. I forgot his name. His name was Ages or something like that. I subscribed to him. He talks about like storylines and everything.
Yeah.
Professor Sage?
No, it was something around not Professor Sage, but something to do with age.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't
don't
really
remember
know.
his name.
I don't know him either. I don't either. Like when it comes to comic book YouTubers, I'm only familiar with Comics by Perch, Linkara, Comics
He's
Finance.
like a writer.
Yeah.
Comics Finance, who's a lesser known YouTuber, but he mainly does videos looking over comic book sales.
Yeah.
Comic book sales and graphic novel sales. So if any of you want to actually see proper sales of comic book sales, go to Comics Finance. It's a really good. Although his sound quality is not very good, it's worth watching to know actual sales numbers. And I know, and a couple of other YouTubers, but other than that, I don't think I know this guy. But yeah, I just felt like ending it on a positive note by talking about the comic book I actually like. So yeah,
Yeah.
because I know some people try to drag that comic into the culture war by saying it's an SJW comic, except it's not. It's actually a good comic, and actually it's well written. Comics by Perch praised the comic. Yeah, so yeah. Basically, basically, it was fun. It was fun talking to you guys. I hope we can do it again some other time when I have the chance. So
yeah, I'd love to have you back too. And your final words, GT Vega, because if not, I'll be ending the stream. So
go ahead and end the stream. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I didn't talk that much because these two gentlemen here, my fellow katanas, that visiting the Omega Dimension. Yes, it's branding. And if you like this video, please like the video, comment in the comment box below the video, and subscribe and ring that blue bell. The reason why I said that because I really appreciate when people leave a comment in the archive versions, as well as love seeing the people in the chat, like interacting with people and whatnot. And I love doing the podcast. And I want, in the future, I might bring back guests on again. Okay. Which is going to be cool. So I just need to get back into like bringing DMs to people and making sure they're interested to be on the interested to visit the dimension. So I'm still working on that. So, anyways, it's your boy Omega Katana. Peace, and I'm really sorry about last stream having the connections to having a stroke. So I'm really sorry about that. This one's way better. So that's all to say for now. Peace. And sayonara.
You guys take care.
You too.